Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV for our latest episode. It's Monday review time as I look back at the weekend's 0-0 FA Cup draw at home to National League side Hartlepool United. As I tweeted after the game, not one for the FA Cup Classic archive, unfortunately, not by any stretch of the imagination. I suppose the biggest thing, which seems to be the general vibe in the paper this week, the Medway Messenger, is that we are still in the hat for the second round draw. There are some league teams that did get knocked out by lower level opposition and we weren't one. But in terms of a spectacle, it wasn't one. Let's be honest, it was a very poor game. Hartlepool came with a game plan which was to stick two banks of four in behind the ball and allow us to try and break them down, and we didn't manage it, unfortunately. First half, very disjointed, plenty of antics, we'll say, from the away players, and that continued into the second 45 minutes as well. And despite a brighter start in the second half, where we created probably our best chance, which was for Brandon Hanlon straight away after the half-time whistle, it wasn't to be, and we couldn't break through and break the deadlock. So we now face a mammoth round trip midweek, which looks to be a week Wednesday, not a week Tuesday, because Hartlepool's next National League game has been moved to a Sunday from a Saturday due to BT Sport coverage. So yeah, about just over a week until that replay. But tonight is the FA Cup second round draw live on the telly, and we will find out who we can face if we manage to overcome our northern opposition in the replay. In terms of the paper, Gills positive thinking. That's the headline on the back of Monday's Medway Messenger. We're still in the hat, says Lovell after ball draw. A lot of teams have gone out of the weekend and we are not, so that is, and are not in our position. That is the positive I can take out of it. We have to try and get up there and do the job. The FA Cup is a funny old competition and you don't know what it throws up. They could have quite easily got a penalty in the last minute and then we are out, but we are not. We are still in it and nothing has been lost. I think he's just generalising there, Steve Lovell. I don't think he's saying they should have had a penalty, because I can't for the life of me remember anything of any note happening in the game. But yes, we are in the hat. It was another clean sheet and a decent enough defensive performance if we're looking for the positives. He sort of focuses on the recent performances against Bradford and Fleetwood, where we played against two sides that wanted to try and play and were open a bit with us, and we was able to get the ball down and do stuff with it, use the space and the gaps that they created. But at the same time, obviously, if there are teams that come to the Priestfield and want to put 10 behind the ball or whatever, we have to find ways to break them down. And Saturday, unfortunately, we weren't cute enough, we weren't clever enough with it to do it. And we resorted to big hopeful long diagonals again, far too early. Said at the time on Match Day Live with Dave, I felt really sorry for Brandon Hanlon and Tom Eaves, because they spent most of the game just turning around, looking up in the air, doing 360s as the ball continually sailed over their head in both directions. Luke Cordell's match report, I always try to do the last paragraph of that. He always tends to sum it up quite well. And he says, "This was a forgettable afternoon. The closing of the Rayner men subdued the atmosphere and the team failed to break open a resilient opposition. This competition could still produce some magic for the Gills, but Hartlepool have proved they won't be pushovers." We was here this time last year, really, or just about, in the second round, where we bossed the game against Carlisle for the most part and ended up drawing and lost the replay. I know it's not our bread and butter, and obviously League One is, and staying in the league or moving up the league or whatever our aspirations are. But it would be nice to have a cup run and maybe draw one of the bigger teams in the third round if we do manage to get there. But based on Saturday's performance, it's still a long way off that third round draw. We have a job to do now in the replay. It was just boring, I think is probably the best word to describe it. Like I've said, defensively we were really solid, and I don't remember them really getting in behind. They had one good chance first half that Thomas Holy palmed away from the edge of the box that was straight at him, and aside from that, all their shots seems to be from distance. But on the flip side, Brandon Hanlon had one proper chance where he drifted in from the left-hand side right at the beginning of the second half and sort of tried to curl it towards the far post, and it just drifted out for a goal kick, and he was unlucky. He needed someone to get a touch on the end of it, and then the game would have opened up. And we said at the time, if we got the first goal quite quickly in the second period, we'd have probably gone on and won comfortably, because it to me and Dave, it didn't look like they had players to change it if they had to go away from that approach of playing for the draw. But we weren't good enough to break them down, so fair play to them. They came with a plan and it worked, and they executed it to perfection because they have their replay now. Attendance was 2,200. It's a real shame because for me, the FA Cup's still the oldest and most traditional cup competition in the world of football. But I think unfortunately these early round games have been going the same way for quite a while, and that's poor attendances, half empty stadiums, half open stadiums, which is definitely the case for us, and I'm sure it's the same for other teams around the country because chairmen and football clubs want to save money in terms of stewarding and that and facilities, so they don't open all of the stadium because they know it's not going to be full up. But in terms of an atmosphere, it doesn't help, and Gabriel Zakuani alludes to it. He says cup can still be magical. It was a strange game, said the Gills skipper. It was different with the Rainham end empty. That Rainham end usually sucks the ball in when we're up against it, but we are professionals and we really should be able to win the game without the Rainham end. I can see his point, because the trouble for me is that those that want to sing and that stand in the middle of the Rainham end and towards the back in the middle block create an atmosphere, and then the blocks either side of that feed off of it and join in. But if you're all put in a Medway stand and the away fans are in the Gordon Road stand, then generally the atmosphere is better for the away supporters because all of their singers will sit together, whereas ours are all spread out over, you know, sort of 6 blocks. So even those that were trying to get something going, it sort of doesn't reverberate around the stadium like it does for a normal league game with all 4 sides open. So yeah, it just had the feel of a pre-season friendly or a sort of checker trade game, and we know the feelings of most people on that competition. But yeah, there's not a lot more to say. This might be one of the shortest Monday reviews in quite a while, but we are still in the draw. That is the main thing. Ball number 22 tonight for the second round draw, so we'll keep an eye on that and see who we could play if we overcome Hartlepool in a replay. But I have just mentioned checker trade. We do have a game tomorrow night against Crawley, and Steve Lovell seems to think that he's going to go pretty much full strength. Asked if he was likely to use the fixture to experiment, Lovell has said, "I don't think so. I need people to play. I need the majority of the boys who played Saturday to play Tuesday because I feel they need to start playing, and we need to start getting back on track regarding creating more. The last 2 games we haven't done that. Against Blackpool we created a lot more than Saturday, where we had 10 chances but only 2 on target." I think 10's very generous. I, for the life of me, can't remember 10 openings being created. I'm struggling to remember the 2 shots on target, in all fairness, but they have more data to look at than we do. But tomorrow night we do play Crawley. I will not be attending that one, unfortunately. I'm not going to spend more money, and that's not me saying, you know, I'm not willing to pay. It's just personal choice, this one. If there was something on it, I'd probably go along, but it's a dead rubber for us. We cannot progress even with a win. I'll be supporting the boys from my sofa and hoping that we can put in a performance and a good result, because winning's winning at the end of the day regardless of the competition, and hopefully then we can build some momentum again ahead of the trip to Oxford at the weekend and moving forward towards what will be a hectic and busy Christmas period. But yeah, my choice tomorrow is not to attend, so there will be no match day live. We'll be back Thursday for a weekly roundup, a look back at Crawley in terms of what the result was, and then a preview of Oxford United. But yeah, that's about it today. Not loads to talk about, not much in the way of action to talk about. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please keep liking, retweeting, subscribing and doing all you do. And until next time, up the Gills.